Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Pittsburgh Steelers 7-round mock draft 1.0, Faribault. Back from Mobile, Alabama, and the Senior Bowl, I have a far better idea of what the Pittsburgh Steelers will do this year than what I did before. So, what better time to do my first mock draft of the 2025 offseason? Before free agency, these can be difficult, especially because the path the Steelers will go on during free agency is probably not known even to them fully yet. But here it is, my first mock draft. The Pittsburgh Steelers have signaled with their actions and words so far that the defensive line is the top priority. That likely is partially precipitated by Derrick Henry's two dominant performances against them that caused them to lose the division and in the wild card round. Kenneth Grant is a massive, athletic guy. Despite weighing in at 340 pounds, he has a hot motor and far more pass rush upside than most guys at that size. When you watch this guy on tape, there is a lot of DJ Reader in his game. He still has raw edges to his game, like most defensive tackles in this range, but he can play out to a 3 technique and give the Steelers an instant impact immediately. This fits the mold of player the Steelers want, and I think he makes a lot of sense. Jack Beck came into the Senior Bowl as a third-rounder and might have just jumped up another round. It makes sense when you look at how crisp his game is on tape. He blocks with a relentless motor and has experience playing outside or in the slot. This is a McVay disciple's dream of a wide receiver. He can still run routes high enough to create separation on the outside and has strong hands and contested catch skills. Beck will get a lot of Puka Nacua comps, and the shoe fits. The Steelers need an outside receiver and Beck is an excellent fit for what they do. Burke is a scheme-versatile player and a bit of a gambler, but the Steelers value ball production. I love Burke's physicality in the run game, and his scheme versatility makes him a lot of fun. The pedigree here is all there, as Burke should test well and stands at 6'1", 195 pounds, which is right around how the Steelers like their cornerbacks. Burke could potentially even slide inside at times, but he gives the Steelers an upside option with length to work within a deep cornerback draft. There are a lot of running backs around on the board at this point, but I steered away from them because 85 is a bit of an awkward point, and I caught in between rounds. I was not familiar with Tutin's game until the Senior Bowl, but he fits the Steelers' wants like a glove. For this year, I have been told the team wants speed. That could draw them to some backs earlier in the class, but Tutin can downright fly and is a perfect fit in a zone running scheme like Arthur Smith's. I was unfamiliar with Tutin's pass protection ability until I saw him in backs on backers. So, while Tutin would work as the second guy in the rotation with Jaylen Warren, it sure looks like there is a 3-down upside to his game. Round 5, pick 163, Jamari Caldwell, IDL, Oregon. I'm not sure why Caldwell is not picking up steam in this draft class, but he is a fun player who stands out a lot when you watch Jordan Burch and Derek Harmon. Caldwell is a hoss of a nose tackle and stacks up with some really fun nose tackles in this class. I think Caldwell has a chance to rise throughout this process, but if the Steelers want to focus a lot on their run defense, Caldwell fits the bill and is great value. He will be in the league for a long time with his skills. Report: Arthur Smith stopped letting Russell Wilson audible, caused divide. At the tail end of the 2024 NFL season, there were reports that Pittsburgh Steelers offensive coordinator Arthur Smith and quarterback Russell Wilson were at odds with one another. When you lose 5 consecutive games, tensions are certainly high, but there was a question as to why there was tension between the two. According to Jerry Dulac of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, the issues stem back to Smith limiting Wilson. Smith reportedly stopped letting Wilson change calls at the line of scrimmage. Multiple sources have told the Post-Gazette the offense lacked imagination and that the audibles and route adjustments Wilson was making at the line of scrimmage were creating a conflict with offensive coordinator Arthur Smith. According to several sources, Smith did not want Wilson changing plays at the line of scrimmage, like he did in Cincinnati, and deviating from the game plan. While many fans and media members, myself included, laid a lot of the blame on Wilson for the shortcomings of the offense, this makes Smith look petty and resentful. Wanting to run the ball is one thing, but when it isn't working and a veteran future Hall of Fame quarterback has the smarts to check out of a play and audible to a successful play. If the run game worked, then perhaps Smith would have an argument, but the run game stunk. And instead of leaning into Wilson being very smart pre-snap, he took that away and it hurt the Steelers, should these reports be true. Rappaport, Rams willing to eat money in Cooper Kupp trade. The Pittsburgh Steelers and Los Angeles Rams Wr Cooper Kupp were connected prior to the 2024 trade deadline. So, when Kupp posted on Monday evening that the Rams were seeking to trade him, the rumor mill was back. Would the Steelers try to acquire Kupp this offseason after courting him in 2024? Well, there is at least one major sticking point. Steelers Depot's Dave Bryan pointed out the $7.5 million elephant in the room, Kupp's roster bonus due in March. The Steelers would not want to tack that charge on top of his $12.5 million base salary for 2025. So either the Steelers would need to wait until after March 15, or they would need some help from the Rams. According to NFL Ian Rappaport, the Rams are certainly open to helping out whichever team acquires Kupp. My understanding is the Rams are at least willing to eat some of the money, said Rappaport on Tuesday's episode of The Insiders on NFL Network. Potentially paying down the $7.5 million signing bonus, which a lot of that is guaranteed for Kupp, maybe easing the burden on an acquiring team, maybe making a trade a little easier. The Rams are in a bind when it comes to Cooper Kupp. 4 seasons ago, he led the NFL in receptions, 145, receiving yards, 1,947, receiving touchdowns, 16, and receiving yards per game, 114.5. His performance earned him a Pro Bowl nod and a first-team All-Pro spot. Both the Associated Press and the Pro Football Writers of America named Kupp their Offensive Player of the Year. Unfortunately, that was the last season that Kupp played all 17 games. In 2022, he played 9 games, while he played 12 in each of the last 2 seasons. He's still averaging over 10 yards a reception and grabbing at least 5 touchdowns a year, but he's not staying healthy. And there's the problem of the $7.5 million bonus in March. The Rams cannot do anything about Kupp's health. But they can help with the financial issues of a trade. And that may be enough for a team like the Steelers to pull the trigger on a trade for Cooper Kupp. And you, fan? What do you think of the Cooper Kupp situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.